Last night I had the joy of seeing the first episode of True Detective Night Country. It's called, and this episode is called "The Long Bright Dark." It's written and directed by Issa Lopez. This series stars Jody Foster along with John Hawkes, among other this fantastic supporting cast. Um, this is a very minimal, if not almost non-spoilers that I want to do, because what I want to do is watch it for yourself. Like I said, I watched it on my HBO Max that I pay for, so there was no freebies here, and not that the slant asked for it, but I want you guys to be on it to know honestly where I'm coming from my review. Me and Romy had been looking forward to this true crime detective because we're really into true crime, whether it's docs or fiction. Um, a couple things that sold us on this prior to seeing this. The setting. It's set in a high altitude small town in Alaska. It's a fictional one called Innis, Alaska, where it's very remote, and Jodie Foster. So this episode begins on the final sunset in Alaska that they'll see for 2 months. In a very shocking and violent scene, we see a band of caribou being hunted. But once the sun goes down, we see the caribou kind of screaming and talking to each other, and they decide to collectively jump off a cliff. That's right. It's so beautiful, it's so violent, and it's a foreshadow for the entire I assume it's means the entire series, but definitely this episode, in that the setting is bleak, it's remote, and it is, you know, cold. Now the characters we come up with that we encounter are everyone from the state trooper who is this native woman to the cop that is the head detective that is Jodie Foster, along with all the supporting cast. So really this first episode kind of introduces us to this world of Innis and the crimes. Don't want to say what the crimes are. I want you to find out for yourself, but I can tell you that it is ghostly. It's haunting, and it questions whether these images, what people are encountering, are they in fact real? Are they part of a curse? Are they part of a native folklore, or is it all in their heads? So I was very impressed with the look and feel of this first episode. I think Issa Lopez, first and foremost, is a film geek. She's a nerd. She loves everything from The Thing to Ferris Bueller, which is even in the episode. She she um she definitely knows how to set mood and tone in every scene. Like I said, this first episode looks incredible. So that's one thing that I found very enjoyable. Of course, there's Jodie Foster. And it's great to see just Jody act, if I can say that. Just Jody fill up the screen for us in this episode. She is a kind of an older detective, a little curmudgeon-y, definitely by the book. If we were going to compare this to, like, let's say an X-File, a Scully and Mulder, she is definitely the doubting Thomas. She's by the book. She's by the facts. She's not so much, definitely not a believer in any kind of spiritual or mysticism that the natives or the townsfolk are talking about. So great character. Fiona Shaw. Wow. Fiona Shaw is this character is a mystery. You might have seen her in Andor. Um, Here she lives in even a more remote part of Innis and has some, let's just say, supernatural encounters. Let's just say she also is the one that kind of leads Jody and leads others to what is going to be more of a bleak winter, more of a strange and very scary and very haunting winter as to the things that they run into with this investigation. I'm not going to tell you who she interacts with. I will tell you there's wonderful ways of that Issa, the writer director, explains the exposition in this case. It explains it very mysteriously in her interactions with another relationship that she has. P- Completely scare the poop out of me, man. It was just like, what? It's a wild world up there, even though it's like really remote. Okay, Callie Reese is the state trooper who used to work with Jody Foster. And although I find the character interesting, I did find her performance uneven. At times, I didn't believe that she was filling up the same acting space with Foster. Um, Also, too, the character for me was a little too much like Jodie Foster. I think what works is when you have more of a contrast of character, and not just culturally. Obviously, she's native, but that's not enough for me, and it's not enough for me that that she throws that out, and that Jody was like, I'll cut that crap out. Let's what about this investigation? That's not enough for me. So in this first episode, I needed more of a definitely of an acting presence that was just in contrast to Jody, that's more flushed out. And I don't know this actor. I don't know what she's done before, but I wasn't 100% sold. Some scenes I were. Some she was working it. She was working the action in the moment of the scene. Some I bought it. Others I didn't. Jody, 100% every time she's walking in. And maybe she was a little intimidated. I don't know what. Maybe it was the editing and the pacing of the show, of the first episode. But I will tell you also too, being my biggest gripe, John Hawkes is great. John Hawkes is a great uh, co-star in this as one of the deputies who does the bare minimum. And let me tell you right now, there are no perfect characters in this one. From Jodie Foster to Callie, they're all very flawed people. No one's getting a pass in this as far as character development, which is I really appreciated as well. Um, we're going to get more interaction of these two working the case, because really the case begins as far as on the ground investigating towards the end of the first episode. So I'm looking forward to that. Can I just say that? I'm looking forward to that. One thing I will say about this first episode, like I said about Callie, I hope that in the following episodes, I'm more of a believer of her acting ability and the characters contrasting. The other thing too that fell short for me, but didn't ruin the episode, was the pacing of the second half of this first episode. It got a little bogged down. It got a little slow for me, and it did pick up towards the end. I did really appreciate that. I think this is going to be what, 6 or 7 episodes of Night Country, which refers to Alaska being under night for 2 months, and that's the duration, I guess, that what we're going to see. Um, Issa Lopez comes from movie making, I believe. So this is a completely different animal. I don't know her television background, but television is definitely a different animal. I probably for this episode would have trimmed 10 minutes. I would have trimmed 10 minutes. I don't think you need to stick everyone in there, all the characters in the first episode with so much backstory. They got a little bogged down, and even the supernatural encounters got a little bit old hat for me. Now that being said, I did really enjoy this first episode. I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. I really really love Jodie Foster, and she's a very interesting character in this. Issa Lopez paints a fantastic world. I will say that listening to Issa talking about this production, they had to recreate Innis, which is a fictional town in Alaska, in Iceland, I believe. They ended up filming everything in Iceland, which was pretty amazing what they did. Like I said, the cast is also rounded out by other character actors, some that have not appeared yet in the television show. This is just episode one, so that is my view of episode one of True Detective Night Country